Hi, have you ever wondered how your body's so full of energy? Yes? Well then do you want to know how cells work? No? Well I'm going to show you anyways. Okay, so now that we're at the cellular level, let's look around. This right here is a human cell. Cool, right? Well, it would not be able to exist without the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell. So let's take a closer look at the organelle. So before we get started, let's get to know the structure of the mitochondria. First is the outer membrane, then we have the inner membrane, and then we have the space in between called the intermembrane. The middle part here is called the matrix, and the folds are called the cristae. The matrix is filled with fluid. In the fluid, there's these little circles called ribosomes, and the string-like structures are DNA. So now that we know the structure, let's get to talk about the function. So the outer membrane is smooth and made to protect the organelle from the cytoplasm. It has pores used for respiration and is made of a phospholipid bilayer. Let's get to the most important part, the inner membrane. It's composed of a special lipid bilayer called cardiolipids that are important for keeping the structure and for synthesis of ATP. The inner membrane's main purpose is just to create ATP. It has an electron transport chain and uses oxidation reactions. It acts as a barrier to let some molecules through, maintaining a proton gradient for the oxidative reaction. Now, the space in between is where the protons go after they're pumped through by the inner membrane. It controls cellular respiration and is a main coordinator of the whole organelle. The matrix area, in between the inner membrane, holds the mitochondrial DNA and ribosomes and many enzymes that help produce ATP. The folds here are called cristae, and the reason they exist is to create more surface area for the inner membrane, so there's more space to make ATP. And the string-like structures in the matrix are strands of DNA, and the mitochondria acts as its own DNA separate from the rest of the cell, which means it gets passed down differently genetically. And this brings us to the little circles, or ribosomes, in the mitochondria. They're used to make protein from the DNA that are used in the oxidative process. So now that I've showed you around, let's actually talk about what it does for the rest of the cell. So after ATP is produced, it's pushed out into the cytoplasm and diffuses around the cell to be used for cellular respiration and many processes. The mitochondria can also send signals to other organelles, like the nucleus to initiate stress responses. And if you don't have a properly signaling mitochondria, it can cause many disorders. So the ATP used can actually be used for active transport to move molecules in the cell, and it's basically the only reason you're alive right now. Thanks for learning about the mitochondria with me, and goodbye.